Aloha Manga Aloha Manga Club. It's your boy Lohali signing in with my beanie on, which means that I can be featuring the one, the only Zach from Uchuu Shelf. Zach, how are you doing today?
I am doing quite well, my friend.
That's good. I mean, and you're using proper grammar to say how you're doing. That's
I
always.
am.
My mother used to get really mad at me when I would say I'm doing good. She'd be like, "Brian, you're doing well. You're not doing good." Thanks, mom. I genuinely thank you. I did not know. So, how are you feeling on this Friday? I guess we're recording on a Friday afternoon. So, how are you feeling on this
We are.
Friday?
I'm feeling pretty good. You know, weekend's coming up. I've got nothing to do other than read manga and
Nothing.
grocery shop, I guess.
Well, hey, see, that's important. It
And
takes.
yard work.
Ooh.
I got a ton of crap to do. What am I talking about?
Wait. I just want to check. Whenever I see like pictures of England, like you guys don't have yards. Like, what do you have?
We have a backyard.
Okay.
We're one of the few English houses that have a backyard.
Is it like big? I mean,
Uh, it's American small. I'm
oh,
pretty
okay.
sure.
That's not too
I
bad
guess.
then. I mean,
Yeah, it's not too
that'll be a nice little couple-hour project to get you some sun. I think sun is that happening there now? Does sun exist in the UK?
bad. I haven't seen it in a while.
Oh, I mean, you're
Yeah.
from Canada,
I would
so
imagine the sun. I would imagine the sun still exists.
I mean, I know it's here in the United States, but maybe we just, patented that
Yes,
thing
I'll
and
go
kept
with
it.
sun.
We do. I'm sorry. California needs a lot of sun. California and Florida.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Well,
So we are actually redoing a stream that we did a few months ago that kept getting interrupted, stopped, and
Yep.
just generally was not a great experience for either one of us. It was a fun talk, but the overall
yeah.
details behind it were not amazing. Like it was bad enough that I think it stopped 3 times, and I eventually just messaged you and said, "Listen, I'm done. I can't do this
I'll
anymore."
record it and edit it together.
We
and then
yeah, it
that was
was
the last I heard of you.
that was, and then I disappeared. Yeah, Zach, you shoved me off of YouTube, Zach. It's all your fault. It's just you exclusively.
Yeah.
That video broke my spirit and killed me on the inside.
Well, to be fair, I was kind of on a cancel kick. I canceled Manga Rock.
I
So
mean,
I thought,
yeah,
I'm gonna cancel you.
we got to
Just
take. You had to
if I
take.
can.
It's like universe, like Thanos says, the universe had to be balanced, and you took away Manga Rock, so you had to take away a manga tuber as well.
Yep.
I can respect
Exactly.
that. I can respect that Thanos move. But just like happened, I came from the past and now we're back. But I do have some questions in mind today. And we are going to touch a few viewer questions. But first things first, what kind of sandwich is your favorite?
Ooh. Um. Is a hamburger a sandwich?
Is it between two buns?
Technically,
Yeah.
it's between two. Well, so is a hot dog though. So
But is a hot dog two buns because it's not cut down the middle? The buns
What-
aren't separated on a hot dog.
yeah, that's true.
So for me, a hot dog's to me a hot dog's a
Fully
hungry-
loaded burger. I think bacon.
Mm. Mm.
Put an egg on there, some guac. Yeah.
I mean, I can do without the guac, but I would definitely do like bacon, cheese, a little bit of like Thousand Island on the very bottom to get a nice good like.
Yeah, I see. Okay.
And see now I'm hungry. Yeah, I'll agree with you that burger's my favorite.
Might make burgers tonight.
I actually have 2 pounds of ground beef just sitting downstairs, so we are ready for that burger mania.
You're doing something with it.
I mean, I have to.
It's either that or just like a full bowl of just salted ground beef.
I've done that. Like I've done that.
No, I have to.
It's I used to call that the college bowl because I just use my minute rice cooker in the microwave,
Yep.
do the ground beef, mix it all into one bowl, and just eat it depressingly with some Parmesan cheese on it while I was watching TV. It was terrible. Actually, it was amazing. I still
It
miss it.
sounds pretty good, actually. to be
Like
fair.
my wife doesn't want to eat it, but darn, throw that a little bit of Parmesan cheese, like I said on the top, some butter, garlic, you're good to go. And I mean, like we all know, I don't count a burrito as a burger as a sandwich. So otherwise, I'd say burrito.
Yeah, that's
Burrito's
fair.
a wrap.
Wraps are kind of they're not really sandwiches.
Yeah, see now, but then we're getting into
Kind
the,
of like they surround. It's bread surrounding things. Okay.
this almost sounds philosophical.
Yeah, a little bit.
Just a little bit. I guess let us know in the comments down below
Yeah.
what makes a sandwich. Like this way, we can honestly answer this at some other point in time. Because if we're saying if a wrap counts as a sandwich and a burrito is a Mexican wrap, then I have to go with a burrito over burger. But if not, then
We have to be fair and say a hot dog is a sandwich then.
Yeah, I mean, obviously. But I think if we're gonna go by the definition of two pieces of bread, if we're going by the two pieces of bread definition, I absolutely have to say that burger is hands down my favorite. Hot dog, bratwurst. I'd go with a bratwurst over a hot dog. Like a nice pineapple beer brat. Oh,
that sounds pretty good.
It's really like it's a brown sugar, pineapple, a little bit of jalapeno mixed in. It's amazing.
That does sound good, actually.
See, now I'm just craving it. I need to tell Sydney.
I'm starving. I should have eaten before the podcast.
You should have. We'll keep it nice and short. Only 4 hours that we don't die of starvation.
Yeah.
Like I said, this is kind of how we're going. Now let's dive into the meat and potatoes. The meat and potatoes of what I'd like to ask you today. I almost sound like Nux Taku. The meat and potatoes. Next thing I'm be saying Zawaldo.
Yeah.
Zawaldo. So the first question that I kind of thought that I wanted to ask you is, you spend a lot of your time dealing with design, the thought process behind how things are going to look.
Sure.
And to me, that's really interesting because I've noticed since I left, the shift in mangatube has changed just a little bit, and things especially on thumbnails, are looking very, very different. Do you feel like we're evolving to a different place creatively with that kind of stuff, or do you feel like this was kind of we saw somebody else doing it and we chose it for ourselves?
That's exactly what I did. I just because I wasn't really confident about I'm not gonna toot my own horn, but I'm pretty good at thumbnails. But I was seeing I wasn't seeing the kind of reaction to the videos I was hoping for. So I went to other bigger YouTubers to see what they were doing with their thumbnails, and they were not as good as mine. So it was kind of finding I just sit there and just kind of analyze it. And there was a good 2 hours where I just I went through thumbnails and I was like, okay, why does this work? And I think everything I know, I started doing thumbnails like that, and then Alex stepped his thumbnail game up really, really well, and then other people just kind of followed line. So I think it's a case of monkey see, monkey do, I think.
So what did you kind of, and not to reveal industry secrets here, obviously, but what did you kind of notice was going on with their thumbnails?
I've noticed that everybody started getting a little bit more simplistic instead of just having this big, for example, let's say it was a fight scene. Instead of spoiling the fight scene in the thumbnail, they would take a single focus of it. So what I do with my thumbnails is instead, I usually grab one character or something. I'll put it off to the side, and then whatever white space I have left, I'll fill in the text the best I can, trying not to use a lot of text. I try to keep it usually under 4 words. So that way I can make the text bigger. The text is bigger. It's more visible when the thumbnail's gay big.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
So, I mean, it's really just finding the balance between simplicity and making it something that people are going to go, oh, cool, and then click it, which is not always easy.
Have you noticed kind of a trend with, and I know this is something that I did a little bit of research on, especially back before I went kind of hunter on everybody and took a hiatus. But I kind of noticed that a lot of us are using very similar styles of font. Across, there's 2 or 3 main styles of font that we're all generally using. We were all cutting things out of the background, but now I've kind of noticed that we're still using that same style of font, but your backgrounds especially, you're using almost a blue layer, a blue hue over the back to kind of hide things, and then you'll pull the words out and you'll bring one character a little bit further forward in that entire thing to make them stand out just a little bit more from the background, but not too much. And that looks, to me, that is absolutely beautiful, and I'm jealous. I'm so jealous of that. My thumbnail game is weak. It is weak.
I've seen worse, to be honest.
See, but that's not a great. I like how you said I've seen worse. That's usually whenever somebody says I've seen worse, it's man, you do need to. I need a.
To balance it out, I've also seen better.
Yeah, fair enough. I can live with that. How do you have you noticed, because I know it was a thing for a while that everyone was using borders as well. You'd see just this outline around everything. Have you when you were doing your examinations, your decades long work, do you think borders are leaving, or do you think they're coming back?
I hope they're leaving. They don't really add anything. They kind of let's say you add a 50 pixel border around everything. That's just 100 pixels on both sides. That less space that you have.
Yeah.
And it's great. There is a good way to do it. Like I played around with it where it's like I have the border, and then like the text within the border, I'll have like the background image washed out in the blue, but then I'll have like, let's say, a character that I cut out go over the border to kind of give it a bit of depth.
Mm-hmm.
I think it works there, but when you just have like a black box around everything, or like what Mother's Basement does, he has like that marquee kind of like wooden thing, and then everything inside. I think once you get to become a big YouTuber, you can literally just put a middle finger in your thumbnail, and that's people are going to watch it anyway because you've already got all this stuff.
I mean, do you watch Tekken 101 at all, or have you watched him?
I've watched some of his, yeah.
His most recent video, and I haven't watched him in a while. He literally says a picture of a field with the number 4 and has like 20,000 views. I was like, come on.
That's it's. I think thumbnails probably only matter when you're like a smaller YouTuber. I think once you got that fan base, you can do literally whatever you want. You can literally just put a picture of your bare ass in the in the thumbnail, and you'd probably get actually taken down. But,
I mean, you might. Depends on how you pixelate it.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Pixelate it just right down the middle.
So they can't tell.
Yeah.
So if you were going to lay out let's say 3 ground rules for any upcoming creator making a thumbnail, making that first eye-catching appearance,
sure.
What would your 3 rules be?
Consistency. Make sure like there's a consistency in your thumbnails. Like I'm bad for this because I've started to get away from the blue just because I'm getting bored of it. But find a style and stick to it.
Mm-hmm.
I would say with consistency. Keep it simple. Like you got to keep in mind, like you're designing a thumbnail for like max size is 1280 pixels by 720 pixels,
mm-hmm.
which sounds huge, but it gets shrunk down to like yay big.
Oh yeah.
You got to make sure that whatever, if you're putting some like tiny detail in the corner, it's not going to show up. So it's like keep it as simple as humanly possible, and make sure everything is like big. And then, I guess just choose a font that people can actually read. Because I've seen people use some really, really bad fonts. Even that grungy punk font that I used for a while. It kind of works, but not really.
Yeah, like I said, for me, I think all those 3 are absolutely hands down the most important. Like I said, I'm still struggling with experimenting to figure out what simplistic is for me.
Sure.
But I have 2 fonts that I use, and they play off of each other. I do Lemon Milk, which is I love Lemon Milk, and then I do Babus Nue. I do
all of flips thumbnails, and that's what I use.
Oh yeah, it's like the
go-to font. It's tall, it's fat, it's thick. It's everything you need in a font.
It works, and like I said, they play off of each other very well.
Yeah.
Sorry, I keep looking over for everybody. Tater Tot is now with me for the day because his mom is at work. And he's just adventuring around, and I'm keeping my eye on him because he was a little sick last night.
Oh.
Okay. But those are some really solid rules, and I might actually have you take a look at my thumbnail later to tell me where I'm going wrong, because I'm really excited.
Do that, yeah.
But it's, like I said, I love getting your thoughts because you create in the industry, and I think that, honestly, in my opinion, your thumbnails are the best-looking ones
thanks.
Out there. Especially at our level. Our level,
honestly, it sounds bad. I put more effort into my thumbnails than my actual videos some days. I've gotten to a point in I used to suck at editing videos, but I've gotten it down to like a science. Like from the idea, because I don't plan anything ahead. I literally I'll wake up and I'll be like, yeah, that's a good idea, and I'll set everything up. I'll film it, and then if I can't get everything done in like 4 hours, I just don't bother. That's how just easy I am. It's I've got it down to an art. Science, not really art, but
there have been a few of my videos where I didn't know what I was going to record, even when I pressed the record button in the video. Like I was like, oh, this seems neat. I start recording, and by the very end, it's something completely different than what I planned. I was like, oh no.
There have been times where I'm editing, and I'll be like, I'll have, because I'm really bad at just like talking all at once. Like I'll have notes, just make sure that everything sounds structured and proper. But I think it was like 2 or 3 videos ago, I went on a tangent, and like in my head, I'm like, yeah, I'm talking for quite a long time. This is all going to be good. And like none of it was usable. So
or when you feel like you've been recording for like 10, 15 minutes, you can go back and you were like 3 minutes into the topic, and you're like, oh man. Oh yeah. No. Oh no.
I recorded for like 45 minutes. I'm like, nice, I got a video that's finally over 10 minutes. It ended up being like 4.5 or something like that. I'm like actual usable
see,
content.
I'm so jealous because your editing style is 100% different from mine. Like as
They are a little, yes.
yeah, like mine, I do. My thing is, if I don't get it all out in one go, I don't feel like it's a cohesive story to me. So
Sure.
I have a very hard time like doing those really fun like zoom in edits, cut ins, things like that you get to do so much of. Like
They
it's
they help. I always started doing them because they like I was getting bored of just watching my face like just do the same crap for like 6 minutes,
yeah.
and I'm like, you know what if I just zoomed out here, and that's just kind of where it took off. And then honestly, it was kind of one of those things where like you hear a word and then you constantly hear other people say that word.
Yeah.
I did that, and then I saw like it always happen on like YouTube videos I was watching. I was like, oh okay, it's just a thing that people do.
And I overthink it way too much. I'm like, do I need to build it in here? Do I need to build in the cut in? And it's just like I said, I'm genuinely like, and it sounds so dumb, but I'm genuinely so jealous of your ability to do those cuts. And like, you don't even, it seems like it's effortless to you.
It Yeah, a little bit. Sometimes like I'll say something, and after I say it, I'll be like, that sounded dumb. So I'll just kind of look at the camera and give like a face. And other times I'll just like I'll one time I like doing it. Sometimes like I'll talk and I'll start rambling, and then I'll just forget what I'm saying or like kind of stutter a bit. So I'll just like zoom it out, and it just kind of works. It's just a fun way to like break up the video because yeah,
I think
just fun.
I think the first time that I like really noticed you doing that was your dojinshi video. I can never say that word. Where you literally like, where you just went, wait, what? And you literally like, it cut to you reading the definition, and then like you just closing it, and then it just went back to the video, and I was like, that was my favorite use that I've seen. And this is again out of even big creators, that was probably one of my favorite cutaways that I've seen in a really long time.
Thanks, man.
It's God, I feel like I'm praising you. I feel like I should ask you out on a date here soon.
Well, this could be the date.
I mean, it could be. Oh, thanks. Now, I do want to touch on a topic that you are tied to intrinsically now. Like, this topic and your name go hand in hand. And I know I mentioned it to you a little bit in the video before.
Sure.
And that is the idea behind manga piracy. This is a topic that you literally have hours and hours.
I've mentioned this a few times in a video.
Just once or twice. It's not like you went on a whole. It's not like you created a website to help combat piracy, and you are trying to take down a known piracy syndicate. Dude, you sound like the world government from One Piece.
Yeah, a little bit.
I'm taking down piracy, one pirate at a time.
One at a time.
But this is something that I don't know. You know, I've watched your videos, obviously, and I don't know if you've mentioned this. And it was an idea that I had. Sure. How would you feel about creators making their own Patreon, where they give you access to their works for like just $1 a month, like as a way to combat that piracy? And they say, hey, I know that you've read my stuff in the past online on piracy websites. I know that this happens. If you read it, would you feel free to donate? And I feel like the way that the world's heading, the way that we're becoming more globalized, more internet-based, do you think this might be a way to help give back to the creators?
I think it's like it would be my ideal way of doing it. Like, it's genius. Like, because there are thousands upon thousands of just manga that we'll never get because, there's there's sort of like a gatekeeping aspect to it. There's a business that acts as an intermediary between where manga is created and where we get manga. So, for example, Viz. So Viz gets to look at all these manga, and they get to decide what they think we should like. So there's tons of manga that we like. For example, like Jigan. I don't know if you've ever read that. I've read that. It's
definitely never read it. definitely never read about the owl turds.
No. Yeah, it's a weird manga. But anyways, I kind of like it. It's it's fun for what it is. It'll never get released here for very obvious reasons.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
There's.
I mean, it's one of those like super ultra violent things that would definitely sell well over here, I think. But where was I going with this? Yeah, I mean, like I would love to support that guy. There's other creators I would love to support that aren't making their manga aren't making their way this way. The only barrier there is they're tied to publishers now.
Yeah,
So it's not really even up to them. If they accepted money, it's probably like a breach of contract at that point.
very much so. But and then that comes down to the whole, them publishing on a non-contractual website where
Mhm.
the community decides what's going on, to get discovered, where they might get some AdSense from that, like Webtoons, I believe
Yeah,
is one of
yeah,
them.
exactly. Yeah,
I mean, I know Sydney, my wife, reads a bunch of stuff on Webtoons, like Olympus something or another, one of the really popular ones. But
I've only ever read one like webtoon. It's Tower of God, and I
I
absolutely love it.
I've read Tower of God.
Oh no, I read God of High School too. Have you
Was
read
that
that one?
was that the one
It's
where
like
he's like really good at dating, the dating sims?
no, it's like a martial arts one.
Okay, no,
I think I know which one you're talking about. The dating sim one. I think
yeah, like
I've
it was God, like he was all like that was the one that I always thought was God of High School for some weird reason. I think I've read a few, but most of them are like manhwa that are webtoons at the
yeah,
same time,
yeah.
like The Breaker. Oh my god.
Oh yeah, I've heard of that.
Oh
That looks
man,
cool.
it is. I'm waiting for part 3 to come out, but I've been waiting for like 5 years because they were making another one. They keep putting us on hold. Keep and I
Yeah, that's the
it's
problem though. Yeah,
ah
but no. I mean, I think everybody except like copyright holders wants there to be like one central place where you could read manga for like whatever much money a month.
yeah.
And I mean, I can see where like the businesses are coming from and why it might not work. But at the end of the day, like what else are you gonna do? You're just gonna keep letting your product be stolen, or are you gonna find a way to capitalize on the fact that there's already a platform for this?
There's a
It's
platform
gotta.
for it. It's been translated for you.
That's what I'm saying. Like, and even you know what? Just let the scanlators do it, but like charge them or
Yeah.
so. I don't know how, like charge them for the license. I don't know. Just there's so
Just
many ways to do it. Business. When it boils down to, it's not the fault of the scanlators. It's not the fault of the artists. It's just like people who are gatekeeping, like the businesses, the copyright holders, the publishers. It's it's a bunch of old men in suits that are still figuring out how to connect their printer.
I mean, me. My goal for the eternal future is to find some way to get Hajime no Ippo translated legally
Yeah.
in some way. I don't know if it'll probably never happen. It's 12. It's
How
13.
many volumes? It's got to be like
130. It's 124 to
130.
134. I can never. It's right in that
Um,
range.
I
Insane
mean,
amount.
just win the lottery and start a manga publishing company that only publishes Hajime no Ippo.
Is it bad that that's actually what my plan to do if I ever win a couple
Is it?
$1,000,000? That's
No,
dead my
that's
plan.
would be my first thing is to, like go right to Japan, hire someone to like come with me to translate and just negotiate a bunch of manga, release it, maybe make some money back, probably not, but
I'd finished some series that never got fully translated. I don't think Beck was ever fully translated and published.
no,
Yeah, I know
it's
are
it's
they
digital only.
yeah, it's
It's
digital
all
like
finished, but physical. I know what you mean.
yeah,
Yeah.
like for me the physical, I like that physical my favorite ones cuz then I can guarantee that they are like nothing will ever happen. As much as I trust the internet, I don't.
There's that. I kind of as much as I like love digital manga, I hate it for some reason. But like, I like what Kodansha's doing, where like if they put something out digitally first, and if it does well enough, maybe they'll print it. But
Yeah.
like, one, we don't know the metric other than like they just got to sell a bunch, and two, like there's so many series that are like I'm reading one called Tokyo Revengers right now. That's digital only. That I would absolutely love to own physical. Like it's so good.
I mean, what are your thoughts uh, on buying the Japanese version to help get it translated to English? Do you think that would actually be a thing?
I've seen this a lot. I see people that like there's one guy that I follow on Twitter. I don't even know how I know him. He buys there's like a soccer manga called Blue Lock, and he loves it so much he buys the Japanese volumes. He's like, I'm gonna read it on scanlations, but I'm gonna buy the Japanese volumes, and that's probably a good way to do it.
Yeah.
Except, I mean, you're still giving money one way or another. I think to scanlators, whether they got like ads or whether you're like paying for them to
I
scanlate.
mean, what happens if you're using like an ad blocker, an actual ad blocker?
Yeah, I mean, like I don't have a problem with piracy. It's just when they get paid for it.
When they
It's just
do
like the audacity of like when Gemini scans. I saw their Patreon when I did that first. Like, don't donate to scan later Patreons, and I saw that and they're like this sob story about how they're poor college students and they got to drive to go pick up the magazine, and then they got to scan it all in, and it takes time. And it's like, yeah, but you're taking someone else's like thing and giving away for free, but then asking for money.
Oh yeah.
Why shouldn't I just take that from you for free? Why is that not okay?
My favorite is like we're broke college students. I'm like, you guys have been college students for 6 years. You should be a doctor by now.
Well, yeah, they should be done. They just keep like re-enrolling in different programs so
that way we can still feel bad for them.
Yeah.
I mean, I read Jaminy's box. The quality of their stuff was amazing. Like it was so much like Viz, you need to hire these guys to do some of your translations because it's.
That's what I mean. Like, there's a lot of people who are doing very good stuff in like the scanlator world, but like,
it's just
why
the
not
scummy
just
aspect.
try and do it legit?
Yeah,
like I don't get it.
And I know some people. I know some scanlators personally that want to break into the legit business. It
is tough, I will admit, because I tried breaking into it, trying to do like lettering, and it's like you think you do good, but then someone's like, the space between the Y and the R is like 6 pixels off, so no. It's like,
you're like, what?
Yeah, exactly. And then it's like, okay, never mind then.
Yeah, no, like when I used to read it on Manga Fox, and Manga Fox was terrible.
Manga Fox was awful.
They literally just grabbed
watermark ads for like crappy MMOs on the side that nobody's gonna play.
Oh yeah, and then the way that they would actually translate it is they basically take just a white box, cut out the actual Japanese, and then type in so it would spill over the bubble. I was like, you guys don't even care at this point. Like, thank you for translating it. You guys do not care.
Yep. And there's always like, it's like every time, because that's how I used to read like Naruto when I grew up. Like, there was, do you remember one manga?
Yes.
Every time it was like, you get like the first chapter page that they like cleaned up or whatever, and then like 3 to 6 pages of like random fan art, 2 pages that are like, hey, we need more people to like translate and stuff, and then maybe all of the chapter well done, but usually not.
Or Manga Panda. I feel these are sites that you like. The sites that we're mentioning, just don't go to them because you will either get a disease, not a virus, a disease on your computer, where the translations are literally so bad it makes Viz look good.
That's saying quite a bit.
That is, because there was some times where they
used to be good though. They used to be really good, and their quality just really took a nosedive.
Well, because they went from being a pure scanlator site to I think they became an aggregator, where they'd steal from other sites so they didn't have to do the work, so they keep doing more and more and more. And then suddenly it went from being a passion project to, oh, no, we're just going to do it for the money, which is you decrease your quality, you sound just... Like, some of my favorites were, like, when they'd mistranslate names, and, like, you'd go look it up in, like, an official translation, you're like, okay, this actually makes sense. Yeah. What the hell were you trying to do? It's like...
Yep.
Like I said, Viz, I will help pay for your translators. Like, if you pay me, I will go through every single one of your things to change the name of the zoo animal pirates to the actual beast pirates. Or, Dogstorm to, or, God, it's not, I can't remember, cat whatever, to actually Neko Mamushi in One Piece. Like, come on, man. We get it.
Or just change. What do they do? They call him Zolo or whatever.
Why? That is literally the dumbest.
It was. Well, I think it's got to be a copyright thing because there's that like the masked dude that like cuts his Z into everything he does.
Yeah, it's Zed. You damn Canadian.
I'm trying to think of his name. I was like,
what's Zoro's name? Why can't we say Zoro?
That's Zoro's based on,
Antonio Banderas is Zoro.
I can't believe Antonio Banderas is the reason One Piece has to call it Solo.
I can't believe that the 4Kids animation changed Sanji's cigarette to a smoking lollipop.
I love that though.
Or
I've tried. You know what? I like One Piece for what it is, and I've tried on so many occasions to get into it, and I can appreciate it for like the epic that it is. But that dub ruined it for me. I just cannot get into it because of that anymore.
I watched one episode of the dub, and then I just stopped. I exclusively read the manga.
You got to admit that the dub opening is a banger though.
Oh, dude. Somehow, some way, that opening is like fire.
It's good. It is good.
It's, and you're talking to the man who like hates a lot of dub. Like, I think there's some dub that is just so bad, but One Piece dub, I don't know what they were thinking. And this is nothing against the voice actress for her.
Yeah.
But they chose wrong. They chose Luffy wrong. They did my boy dirty.
Like, I think have you ever watched The Red Bard?
No.
Okay, so she does a lot of like deep in-depth stuff. Like some of it, like she did one recent that was like what happened to Tokyo Pop kind of thing, It was like an expose style video. I think she did one for like what the hell happened with One Piece and 4Kids. And I think I might be wrong, and I might even just be making this video up altogether. But I think 4Kids bought the license, not knowing what it was, just seeing that it was big in Japan, and then they're like, "Oh, we're gonna have to edit quite a bit out of this."
Makes sense.
I mean, it's almost art, like the way that they took One Piece to like this Saturday morning monstrosity, if you can call it that.
Like, I'd like to see a whole video just dedicated to the differences in the first, like, pre Grand Line arc. I'd love.
I've seen like pictures of it that compare them. And my favorite one is like there's a guy holding a gun to like this pink-haired kid.
Oh,
but in the dub, it's like he's holding like a thing that's like a hammer on a spring. Like, it's creative. You got to give him that.
there was one where Arlong, one of the fishmen, is like, the scene is like legitimately dark for One Piece. You just see the gun line up to Nami's mom's head and just pop off. Like, you see that happen. And instead, he just points his finger at her, and this one, they're like, she died of starvation in a cell. I was like, that's what? You literally ruined the entire thing of seeing.
Actually, one that I do remember is there's like a guy, and he's like really into wine, and he's like drinking. He's like, yeah, this is the vintage or whatever. But in the dub, he's like talking about grape juice.
Oh yeah, no, that's that was Iron Fist. I know exactly which character it is because he had screws.
I don't know their name.
He had screws in his knuckles. Yeah, it was a Sanji scene, and Sanji's like, "Nope, you are completely wrong on every aspect of life." Yep. No, One Piece is absolutely, hands down, probably one of the hardest things to get into. Because it's.
I've tried.
It's not.
I tried getting into the anime. I tried getting into the manga.
I can respect that. Like I said, I'm going to complete it to the end because it's just the thing that I've grown up with. Like,
I feel like it'll outlive you. You might get to like your 80s or 90s, and it'll be like still going on.
Well, I think what's eventually going to happen is once One Piece ends, because Oda says he's going to end in about 5 years. We're going to see a power read through. He has, but I think we're going to see. Well, he originally was like, it's only going to be like a 10-year manga. We are now twice that time. Like, I think it's going to go on for a total of 30 years,
sure.
And then we'll call it good. That'll be fine. Like, I'll be mid-30s by then. Yeah, I'll be 39. I'll be late 30s. Holy crap, I'll be late 30s. But I'm okay with that.
So what do you do with the rest of your life?
Reread it.
Yeah,
on pace, because then I'd be 80 when I die, and I'll have read it once a week. Like, read it with the same publishing schedule that he had.
Just on your deathbed. My only regret is that I didn't read One Piece a third time.
Oh man. Well, I've gone and read Hajime no Ippo 4 or 5. That's a lot. That's a lot of chapters. I'm gonna be honest here. Like,
it's a lot.
It's a lot. The one thing that I was really
surprised I never made it this way, to be honest.
I think it was just a timing thing.
Yeah.
When it kicked off, the only big anime over here, there were only 3, when it like got really, really popular. I mean, it's been going on since 1987, 89, like late 80s. Sports manga have never been popular in the United States until Haikyuu and Yuri on Ice. But Yuri on Ice isn't
sport.
It wasn't focused on the sport. It was focused on the relationship aspect.
Yeah.
But Haikyuu is the only thing that's really popped off massively here. Ice Shield 21 should have been a much bigger hit. Like,
I'm surprised. That surprised me because I was super into that, and that was not popular at all.
Oh,
like 4Kids could have. I mean, they shouldn't have, but that feels like something they could have.
And they wouldn't have had to change to Haruma and his guns though. They would have had to change that.
They could make it like water guns.
Yeah,
or like those guns like you fire them and they say like bang.
Yeah, I think that would have been one of the easier ones to translate because it's not like pure violence. But like Ice Shield 21 would have been amazing. But I think it was in a weird spot where it's like wasn't quite 4Kidsable, but it wasn't quite Toonami. Like, it wasn't violent enough to be Toonami. It looked too childish. But the themes and like stuff that it explores is actually really, really like deep.
Yeah, definitely.
And that's on my list of series that I have to complete. Like, I have to complete that series to even.
You gave me volume 1, and now it's just like, now I have to get the rest of it.
Oh yeah, it's miserable.
Feels incomplete now.
But I'm just surprised. Like sports anime, just in America, in the United States, over in I don't know about Canada. Can't speak for Canada, but I think
We get what you guys get.
yeah. So,
We get like America's leftovers pretty much with everything.
but yeah, nothing. It's we just don't get a huge amount, a huge volume of stuff over here, like
Yeah,
sports,
it's
and they're like, oh, we're focused on the psychological violent stuff. I was like, have you not seen some of these sports anime? Like Hajime no Ippo, the sound design is some of the like out of any cartoon or show that I've watched. The way that they build up the hype behind the fights is insane. Just like they literally put a jet engine behind the fist of a guy like coming up to uppercut you in the face, and you hear, and it's like, oh, that's I'm
I guess it's one of those things. Like I feel like if I was in charge of a manga company, I would license all the stuff I think is cool and then go bankrupt in a year, probably.
oh yeah, 100%.
So maybe
Like,
maybe I'm missing something, but
I'd lose all of my money.
oh yeah,
I'd lose it all. I mean, I'd also push to complete just because he has such a good cult following. I do limited releases of all of Urasawa's work in English.
yeah,
Like Billy Bat, I would get that translated to English in a heartbeat.
yeah. He's kind of getting more. Not to say he's not popular, but he's got that short story collection Viz is putting out now.
I
They're
think
ramping up. What is it? 20th Century Boys. Like they're putting out more of his stuff.
they are.
I don't know.
It's partially because some of his. And I'm surprised like they didn't do that immediately after Monster because of how big Monster was. Like
That surprised me.
it's 20th Century Boys is by far my favorite. They literally have all of his work, I think, except for Billy Bat translated to English. Basically, like all of his big stuff translated to English. I'm like, just do me a favor and do this last one.
How hard would that be?
Oh,
If only there was like a website online where you could just go and read all the manga you want for free.
you're such a dick. Oh my god. It's oh Jesus Christ.
There's been times where I've been like, man, I could really go to read this, and the only result will be like on Manga Rock. I'll be like, ah, crap, right? Whoops.
You're like, damn it.
Got myself there.
You're like, you caught me again, boys.
I did it all for the clout. Was it worth it?
Yes.
Sort of.
I mean, like I said, I think everything that you've brought to the community has been so important. You've made manga visually more, visible. That sounds weird to say. You've made manga online more visible. There we go. That's the actual sentence that I wanted to say.
I mean, yeah. I mean, it's just something I'm passionate about. Like the reason I did the whole website was like when I put that video and like my mentions were just blowing up. Like my comments, my Twitter. Mostly it was people telling me to go to hell.
Well,
But other people were like, well, where am I supposed to read manga then? And I just honestly got tired of typing out everything every time. So like I copy and pasted a tweet, I threw it into my code editor. I did a little bit of extra code. I did it all in an hour, to be honest with you. Like I got the list and I was like, it needs like one more thing. And I had like a screenshot of Dead Demons just sitting on my desktop. And I was like, edit that. Yep, purple and green. There we go.
boom.
Threw it up on a server.
Dude, that's
Haven't touched it since.
that's how you know it's good is you spend 1 hour doing it and you're like, all right, this is where it's gonna be at, and I feel good about this. I feel great. It's so fun to get your kind of input on stuff because you see things from both a creative point of view and from obviously a consumer point of view.
Yeah.
And so you're able to really give a balance of like, hey, I tried to break into the industry. You tried to break into the industry and you didn't exactly do that. So most people would be like, oh, he's gonna be bitter about it. But instead you keep pushing the good ways to go about it because you are so passionate about supporting creators that you know that they deserve more. You know that they deserve better.
I know what it's. I'm not saying like I know what it's like to be like a huge mangaka or anything like that, but I know what it's like to be in a position where you're creating something and nobody cares, or if they do care, nobody wants to like. People be like, yeah, I'd buy that, and then nobody does.
I mean, they're the definition of like the choosy beggar. Like, I want you to create a 10-year saga of manga for free. Spend 50 hours a week.
That with like my web design. It's like I've tried so many times to break off and just do freelance on my own. Like just pick and choose my clients, just whatever. And every time I'd be like, I get so many like people asking like, hey, do you want to do a website for me? And I'll give them a rundown of how much stuff costs. I'll tell them like how long it's going to take. And once they see that number, and I always hate doing it, once they see the number, they're either like, okay, yeah, we'll reevaluate and let you know. And that's the last I hear of them.
Yep.
Or they go, yeah, but could you do it for like $100?
You're like,
so I know what it's like to be creative and undervalued.
oh,
It's a really terrible feeling.
And when I was first out of a job, because I made a very dumb decision and quit my job. It was an immature move. I told my boss I was anyway, I told him to go screw himself. Threw my keys down on the table because I was basically a shift lead, so I had keys to the building and I was able to do a bunch of stuff. Threw my keys down on the table and walked out.
Done that. It's satisfying though. It's once the high calms down, you get in your car and you're almost halfway home and you're like, oh, what am I gonna do for food now?
Oh, it was even worse than that.
Until then, it's like nothing can beat me.
It was worse than that because it was one of those things like. So the entire story was like, I told him to go screw himself. I walked out. I didn't throw my keys on the table at that second, but I realized that I left my water bottle in the building. So I walked back into the building, unscrew my keys, throw the keys down, grab my water bottle, walk back out, and I lived literally 2 minutes from my work. So I drove home. So I'm riding this high all the way home. I'm like, yeah, I feel so good. Pulled into my parking lot of my apartment, and I just went, oh my God, my girlfriend's gonna kill me. Oh God. And like I just sat there for like an hour in my car. I was like, oh God. Like hyperventilating, went inside, like curled up, took a nap. Then I called her and then she came home. She's like, what are you doing from home? What are you doing home from work? So I was like,
I'm sick.
I'm sick. Can't go to work ever again. And I never genuinely and she didn't force me to get a job after that. She took on debt to make sure, because it was a really hard time for me emotionally. I don't know why. It was just one of those down cycles for me. And I was like, I didn't want to get out of the house. Like I wore pajamas until we would either go to the gym 4 times a week. Even then, I'd still kind of wear my pajama pants if it was bench night. Or maybe if we'd go out to eat, but we didn't go out to eat very much. So, but she took on, $1,000 in debt to help pay for us, support us. And I was like, nope, can't do this anymore. Can't do this to her. I went and got a job, and if you actually go back and watch my very first videos, that's when I decided to start creating YouTube. Was like right after that month. So I'm really, it's a thing that did that. But I tried to become a freelance writer, and oh my God,
it's tough.
It's the worst.
It's the worst. I did that for a bit. I would never. I can't imagine people who do it for a living. I did it for beer money. I could not do it to pay my bills.
No, because they're like, we need you to write 100 words. We'll give you $1 for 100 words. For XYZ, I was like, oh, that doesn't seem too bad. But then you have to go compete against people, and this isn't speaking ill. This is just the way that the market works in the United States versus everywhere else. You're competing against the entire world, and to them, they're able to undercut you because
it's
the American dollar costs.
Did you use that like Upwork or Freelancer?
Yep. Use both of those.
Same. I tried to do. That's how I tried to start my web design business, and I undercut myself a little bit because I was saying I would do stuff for like 30 an hour.
Yeah.
And which is better than what I was making full time, but not as like much as I'd like to make.
Yeah.
And there were people from countries I just won't name, but you know what I'm talking about.
I know exactly.
Who would like, I do this whole thing for $5. It's like, how do you compete with that?
You can't. Just like I'm okay. I'm actually pretty decent with creating spreadsheets that like carry data across like the entire thing, pull from different sheets. Like that's part of what I do at my job. And I was like, okay, let me see how much I can do this for. And so I understand like the basics of what needs to go into making a spreadsheet to make how much time you actually have to, how much knowledge you have to have. These guys were like, I will design a full thing, unlimited edits, $10. And I went, holy crap. I was like,
you can't compete with it. Yeah.
I was like, that's less than what I make an hour of work. Like,
yeah.
And I know that this is going to take this guy, unless he has a ton of backlog, like a ton of templates, which they might have a ton of templates where they can just take it, change the data a little bit in like 5 minutes and kick it out. But most of the time, you have to create from scratch.
Yeah, that's I can say I almost took on a thing where it was like an entire like doctor's office website for like $200, which is about a tenth of what I would normally charge if I was doing the freelance. Because it takes a lot. Like people think like, oh, I'll just go to like Squarespace or Wix and just slap it all together. And you want something like custom? I gotta design it. I gotta make sure that I gotta code it. I gotta make sure the coding works. When it doesn't, not if it doesn't, when it doesn't, go back and fix it. And once it's fixed, and then I have to test it, go back and fix it again, and then pray that God loves me that day.
Nope.
And then maybe get to watch it.
Nope.
It takes like a good 2 to 3 months, solid.
And so I mean, that amount of money is reasonable because you have to start from scratch. You have to break it. You have to fix it. Then you have to break it again. Like you break it 3 or 4 times before you're like, okay, this might work. And then you can test it. And then you see where your screw ups actually are. And you have to go back. And then you have to go through the. If my understanding is correct, I don't know very much about coding. But you have to go. Sure. You have to almost start at the very top of the code and work your way back down until you find the broken part.
And it's always you just forgot a comma.
Yeah,
that's usually what it is. It's like I've spent like an hour. There's one time where I spent an hour and a half because I was trying to like get something to like pull from a database and like spit a bunch of stuff out, and it only half worked. And I was like kicking myself, I was swearing, it was like slamming my keyboard, throwing my mouse around. I'd forgotten a comma at like the top of the page.
So do you work your way from the bottom and work your way? Do you go from bottom to top looking at the code, or do you work from top to bottom?
When I get really frustrated, I'll like, okay, here we go. Scroll to the top and go, yep, nope, that's fine. Like just angrily looking at it, like not actually looking at it. Usually I know where things will break because I'll like throw in a thing that says like spit out this bit of text if we get here. If not, spit this out. So I'll know where like little debugging tools pretty much. But
that's nice.
For that one, I was like, I don't know what the hell. I was just having a bad day, I think. And I was just like not thinking properly. And yeah, it was an hour down the drain that I'll never get back that I never want to experience again. But I've never misplaced that comma.
You're like, I know to check my commas now. My commas are always there.
If something's not working, be like, all right, let's see if all the commas are there.
Like, okay, we're good, we're fine, they're all there. I'm living it.
That's exactly it. That's half the job now, pretty much. Just making sure everything is working because I hate going back and just testing. It's the worst part of the job.
My hat is off to you. Like I said, I do a lot of working on sheets, and it's tedious. I've found shortcuts to it now, but like the very first time that I ever created a spreadsheet, I felt like I was like, oh my god, I felt like a code expert because you have to go in. I had to type in a formula to pull something from a different sheet, different tab on the same sheet, and I didn't know how to do that, which is super easy to do. Like now I'm like, oh, okay, this is how it is. And then I spent like I would have to have different equations in different like throughout the entire thing because I didn't know that I could combine equations in the same in the same column. I was like, when I discovered that, I was like, oh, this is a game changer. Now I don't need some useless information just sitting around hiding the columns whenever I need them and then unhiding them and then having I just sit there. I was like, okay, I can combine a round up function with my multiplication function, my division function, because I have to round up for my job for different things. I was like, oh, okay. But then I didn't know
everything.
I was like, oh, this changes my life. Like I said, my hat goes off to coders in every aspect because I would not have the patience to do it at all.
There are days where I don't have the patience at all. Any day that ends in the word day, I usually lose my patience at least 3 to 4 times.
Yeah, you cuss at the computer a little bit. Yeah.
There's been times, especially this week, we're working on a really big site right now, where I sat there for like 10 minutes once, and I was like, I think I'll just go back to school. I don't think I even want to do this anymore. And then I consider like having to like actually get up early, shower, get dressed, and like drive to a job, and I'm like, maybe next year.
You're like, yeah, we'll see about next mental breakdown. 20 minutes later, definitely gonna do it, 100%.
I have just like a letter of resignation sitting on my hard drive, just like ready to go if I like ever get to the point where I'm just completely done with everything.
You just got to change the dates on it a little bit, just like oh, it's ready to go. Like when you send it, it just puts in the automatic date 2 weeks later. Like, don't get me wrong, I've definitely done the same thing. But then I sit there, and I'm like, man, I didn't like community college. Community college was boring. I was like, I'm gonna go back and get a degree, and my mind goes, no, you're not. No, you're not. You passed community college. You did fine, but you were not.
That's all I like, because I already knew, not to toot my own horn, I already knew everything before I went to college. I just had to get that piece of paper that said I knew everything and then give some company thousands of my dollars. Anyway, Um,
Mm.
but yeah, I mean, I consider going back to university, but then it's like I'm gonna be 29 in 2 months, and it's like, yeah, now I get to be that 30-year-old creepy guy who has to like do group projects with like a 21-year-old.
That's when I would go to a class and literally look at the teacher. Listen, man, we're close to the same age. Exclude me from the group projects. That's all that I'm asking. I will do them by myself if I have to. Do
It's like,
not.
I know I'm almost 30. I know how to work with a group. I don't need to demonstrate that to you.
You're like, listen, this is college. We're all fine. I already have a degree. Like,
I'm paying you. Let's put it that way.
I'll get everything done. You can trust on me to do this. Thank you for not putting me with it. Because knowing you're lucky to be like a freshman class, you'd be working with like 18-year-olds, like sitting there at 29, just look dead ass at the professor, pull him in really close by like the scruff of his shirt. Bail me on this thing right now. Don't put me with them.
I don't even care. I'll make up for it on the midterm.
Just like,
fail me now.
Just fail me on this. We'll be fine. We'll call it copacetic. Do not make me go in with them.
I did that a lot in college. Like I'd have a project, and I knew I would do well on the midterm, but I'd have so many projects like on the go because I'd have like 6 or 7 classes.
Yeah,
and it's like all web projects, all having to build stuff, and none of the teachers talk to each other, so they're not even remotely. I can't even use one project for like 2 things, and it's just like, yeah, I don't even have time to do this. If I do this, I'll lose this much, and yeah, I still pass. It's fine.
you did the math on how much you remember. C's get degrees.
Exactly.
Dude, the scariest thing that ever happened to me in college was, it was for my physics test. Like, it was my physics class. It was my second one. I took one. They're like, that counted towards one of my prerequisites, but then I changed my course. I'm like, doesn't count anymore, sucker. Gotta take another one. And I was like, you guys are the worst. So I went to go take the second course, and I'm sitting there. Like, I'm not a great student. I'm asking, like, I kind of pay attention. I doodle. I didn't fall asleep like I did in high school. I stayed awake because I was actually paying for this one. And so we take the final, and I go home like 2 days later. I get a phone call. Go, hey, is this Brian Morehouse? Goes to SEC. I was like, yes. They're like, hey, it's your physics teacher. And I can't remember what his name is anymore. Like, hey, it's your physics teacher. And I was like, oh no. I'm like, I was like, this is a bad sign. If your teacher calls you when the final's done, it's never good. And so I'm sitting there freaking out. I'm like, oh God, what did he lose my test? So I have to go in and retake this. And he's like, I just wanted to call and tell you that you actually ended up getting the highest score out of all 3 of the classes that we had this semester. I was like, I almost said, like, I was like, oh shit, oh thank God. I was like, I thought you were gonna accuse me of cheating or something. And that possibility was still going through my mind. I was like, he's still gonna accuse me of cheating. Like, I was like, it was just a multiple choice thing, man. Like, there wasn't that much to go around. I was like, it wasn't that hard. I was like, it wasn't that hard. And he was like, have you ever thought of becoming like an architect or like an engineer? And I went, no. He's like, well, if you do, I teach classes at the university, and I'll highly recommend you to the department. I was like, thank you very much, sir, but no.
If I build a bridge, that is coming down. I can guarantee you that.
I was like, listen, man, I appreciate your faith in me. I was like, I understand that cold makes things move slower. I was like, physics is easy. Cold makes things move slower. Sound is in a wave. Everything that we see and hear is in a wave. Like, it's all different. Like, I was like, it's not that hard of a concept. Like, you don't want me to be an engineer because, trust me, there will be a part, like an important part, that I'll forget.
Yeah. I was like, I couldn't do like an actual job, like being like a doctor or something, because like I do. Not to say I always forget stuff, but like I'll forget like a little thing that ends up like screwing everything up.
Yeah.
And like if I had to do that with like a person,
I'm just picturing you now, just like sitting there. Sir, your patient died. Oh, man, this is.
Right. Blood. Yeah.
blood. I forgot the blood. He's type B, not type A.
Yep.
My bad.
Yeah, and I could do that. I could be like, oh, whoops, my bad. I'll fix it now. You can't do that if you kill someone.
No, they're dead. You're screwed. Oh my God. Yeah. So I sat there. I was like, man, I'm not detail oriented enough. I'm very much one of those, like, I'll create it and then I'll help start to implement it, but then I'll get bored and I have to hand it off to somebody. Otherwise, it just doesn't get done. But then I'll get really mad when, like, the person that I hand to implement it just doesn't do it anymore. I'm like, why aren't you doing this? I'm like, well, you're not doing it anymore. I'm like, you have a good point. You have a great point.
my next job, I want to be, because I've got enough experience now. I think I want to be in a like not a manager, but like I want to have people under me that I can like give stuff to.
Like a special project supervisor almost.
Yeah, like an art like a creative director
Yeah.
kind of thing. Like, you know, um, I could just like I'll plan the project, but yeah, just give it to him, and I'll just deal with it come crisis time when they haven't done anything.
Yeah, you're like, it'll be fine. We'll be good. I mean, I'll still eventually do
I feel
all
like
the
I'd
work.
get bored though. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I feel like I'd get bored though. I'd go over and be like, hey, how's that coming? Yeah, don't worry about that. I'll do that because that's actually fun. You do this boring thing.
Well, see, and that's a great thing about being a leader and a supervisor. You can be like, ah, man, that looks really boring. Let me take that from you and give you this.
Yeah, you do such a good job, but you know what? I'll give you something less boring than give them like data entry or something.
Hey, it'll be fine. You'll be good. Just
It's fun.
just you. I'll give you the hard work. I'll give you the fun stuff. Like, just enter one. How many times
Yep.
until you're done? What do you mean until?
Times it now 3. Until 6.
Till 6. That's a lot of ones. So I'm looking up a few of the questions that we had. Give me 1 second, pulling these up. First one is going to be from Radel Lewis. What are your top 10 favorite manga?
Oh, top 10. That's a very good question. Okay, no particular order. Let's see here. Gantz. This is hard because my favorites change all the time.
Oh, it's
I'm so impressionable. Like I'm reading Jujutsu Kaisen right now, and I absolutely love it. It's like my favorite thing right now. But I know, like in like 5 years, when I haven't read it ever again, I'll be like, yeah, that was all right.
You're like it's an experience thing for you.
Yeah. Okay, so Gantz. I'm gonna say Black Clover because I do enjoy that a lot.
Really?
Oh yeah, I love it. I love it.
And Black
What else we
Clover
got
is
here?
like pure shonen trash. It
That's
knows what it
exactly
is.
it. It does not think it's anything more than something that's in Shonen Jump right now. 20th Century Boys, Goodnight Pun Pun. I think we're on 5 now. Tech on Concrete by Tai Matsumoto. Sunny by Tai Matsumoto. I just finished that. That was an experience, to say the least. I really love Dorohedoro right now. I'm working my way through that. I'm enjoying that.
You have such a wide array. Like it's super emotional, and then
next actually Paradise Kiss. And you know what, Beck actually, no, because we were mentioning that earlier.
Beck is amazing.
But I'm working my way through that again because I've only read up to where the Tokyo Pop kind of took off, and I don't really remember much of it. Because I only really remember that they went to America and they had a quick 30-second clip show at the end of the anime, and that was it, and never did a season 2.
Oh man,
for no reason.
I love Beck.
So
Beck is
good.
for sure. I'm gonna cheat here. I'm not gonna do my top 10 favorite anime of all time. I'm gonna do my top 10 manga. I'm gonna do the top 10 manga that I own. So let me pull out the list so I can see everything myself. We know that I love that 20th Century Boys. That hands down, so good. This is really hard. Dragon Ball, the original series.
Okay.
Eye Shield 21. Ooh. Full Metal Alchemist. Mare. Say it right.
Marching Away from Romance or whatever.
Yes, yeah. Love that one.
That's a classic.
That is shonen trash right there. Like that's
right there. That's
that is pure shonen trash, and I love it. My Hero Academia. One Piece, obviously.
Yeah.
Parasite.
Okay.
Pluto.
Ooh.
And I'm not putting this on the list. I'm doing 2 honorable mentions right now. Yakitate Japan is so strange. Like it, I just want more people to know about it. And The Devil's a Part-Timer is also an honorable mention.
I love that. I'm not one for like isekai and stuff like that, but I absolutely love the anime. Like my brother was like really into it. He's like, "Hey, just watch this. Just try episode 1." And I was like, "Okay, I'm gonna hate it."
It was
Absolutely loved it.
it's. I wish there was a season 2. I wish there was a season
Especially
2.
because I've kind of read up on what happens in the light novels, and he gets like a kid at some point.
What? Do him and
I don't know. I think it's like a kid that comes from like his
okay.
demon world. Like,
Um,
it would be funny to watch him and his friend just kind of manage working at McDonald's and having that kid.
Oh
It
man.
would just be pure chaos.
See, I'm looking at this right now. Like, I've got so many: Siren, Rave,
Oh, Siren.
Yu Yu Hakusho, Zatch Bell. Like, I gave you basically a top 15.
I like Zatch Bell, but I hate it because everyone, when it was like big, well, when it was as big as it could get, was like, haha, hey Zatch.
Oh,
and like my dad, I was like super into it too, because like my dad would come on. My dad still to this day calls me Zatch.
Oh, that's miserable.
That's terrible.
That's miserable.
Absolutely hate it.
Like I said,
change my name legally. Nah.
I would, but dude, Zatch Bell, like, I don't know what it did right, but it did like it didn't look good. Like, visually, like, I'm gonna be honest here, like, I'm a very picky like visual guy. Like, I shouldn't have liked it visually. Zatch was designed so weird. It was like the worst of that like late 90s, like mid to late 90s look. It was everything like stereotypical of that. Like, it was bad.
It was popular here though. It had like video games. It had like a card game, I think, at some point. Like, I didn't understand it, but people liked it. I liked it.
I mean,
Fulgore is hilarious.
Just insane. Let's see, what else do we
There's
got
a video idea for you. Why was Zatch Bell popular?
That would be an amazing one. Like, examine why it shouldn't have been popular and just go like, listen, man, I don't know, I still love it. It's amazing. Like,
it would be a 10-minute video of me going, look at this. Why is this? Why?
Do you see this as you own the entire series on your shelf? Like, this is you're like, this is a bad series. It's amazing. But it was like just that. I would have said Kakaishi, but Kakaishi pulled a.
The borders or the barriers or whatever.
Barriers. The first half was really good. I really enjoyed the first half.
I remember it being good, and then it got like very terrible.
Yeah,
very quick.
Like, I finished the series because I read like halfway through. I was like, I have to finish this one now. And unfortunately, it wasn't like Gantz. I did drop Gantz. I couldn't do it. I don't know what it was.
I heard the ending's really bad, but like I'm super invested. So I'm going with the omnibuses right now because I can't find the singles for an extortionate amount of money.
Yeah. Oh,
but,
yeah. No.
I just got up to the part where, like the psychics just showed up and they've all gone to Gantz, and I don't actually remember.
It's like I said.
No, it wasn't birds. That was Tanaka. I don't remember. It was just like, oh no, it was they went to Gantz after the mass shooting.
Okay. Yeah.
Blackface, which again, super out of place, but that's Gantz for you.
Yeah, because that's the big martial arts guy and the kid are now.
Yeah, they showed up. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I said, that's kind of right around where I dropped it because there was just a lot of the tones that I wasn't vibing with it. It's the same way.
I can see that.
The same way I'm about to make a declaration here. It's just part of the same reason why I'm not the biggest fan of Death Note. Just when I like the first couple chapters that I read, I didn't mind it, but then
you didn't like one shot.
I didn't even bother. Didn't even bother. Everyone's like, somebody's like, why didn't you come back to do a review of the one shot? I was like, because then I'd have to go back and I'd actually have to address Death Note, and I am not like. Part of me still wants to make that like hour-long video of my hatred for it. Like, it's just gonna be literally
out of your system.
Me just sitting there, just like pointing at the thing, and visually I don't mind it. It's just anyway. Just wasn't vibing with Gantz.
Yeah, that's fair.
Next question. This is coming from Dylan, the one queen to Gay them all. God, Dylan, you keep changing your name on Twitter, and it's hard. So what inspired you to create YouTube? This is a two-parter. What inspired you to start YouTube, and also, do you have any waifus for Laifu?
Waifus for Laifu. I'll think on that one. What started? I actually don't remember. I've always been creating content. Like, I wrote for Crunchyroll for a while. I wrote for JList for a while, and I've always wanted to do like YouTube videos, like even like just stupid like skits and stuff like that. Or even like there was a time where I was like gonna start like a news channel. I was like really into Philip DeFranco. I was like, yeah, I could be Philip DeFranco. That's no problem.
Everyone wants to be everyone wants to be Philly D. When
Yeah.
the channel was Philly D.
When he was Philly D, yeah, or he was SXD Phil.
Oh, I remember stupid.
Way back then.
Oh, I remember those days.
Those were good days of YouTube. Yeah.
I still watch Phil.
Sorry, before I'm going off on a tangent again. I recently watched the Weezer's Pork and Beans video this morning again, and it's just like all classic. Like there's Tayson Day, the Numa guy. It's just like I was like, yeah, wow, this is a better YouTube rewind than every YouTube rewind ever created.
Chocolate rain, some stay dry with others. Then he just leans out from the microphone.
When you edit that, you should actually put the text like I move away from the mic to breathe in.
Even though the mic stays the exact same distance from me because it's a lapel. It's normally a lapel mic.
And then like the real reason why it sounds so, like there's no like dramatic story about how like I love manga so much that I had to talk about it. No, like Alex was doing a follow spree on Twitter. I followed him back, and then a bunch of other people started following me, and I saw people are making YouTube videos. And I was like, yeah, what the hell? So I tried, and then like I made like my first video was like Dead Demons, and then Callum messaged me like literally within an hour after. He's like, "Yo, cool, we should be friends." I was like, "It's like, yeah, were we best friends now?" I was like, "Yep." So, and then it just kind of took off from there. Like people were actually watching it. I was like, "Oh, cool." It's like I'm not the most confident person because I don't think even to this day don't think I'm YouTube pretty. My dad used to joke. My dad's like watched some of my videos and he's like, "Yeah, you've got more of a radio voice." He's joking, but it's like the perfect like. Okay,
you've got the face for radio.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. Got the face for radio. And waifus for laifu. Asuka from Eva. Actually, a joint waifu of mine and my real life waifu.
Let's see. My very first videos were actually fitness related. Like you have to go back to my other channel. I made videos like about lifting because that's what I used to watch like exclusively. And that was kind of like my first foray with terrible angles, terrible lighting, terrible backgrounds. Like it was brutal. And then it kind of hit a point where I was like, I don't really know what I can create anymore because I felt I like to challenge myself. And so eventually it got to the point where I was doing the where I just, like I said, I quit my job and I was like, I need to do something to occupy my time. I started like trying to do freelance writing. I was like, oh man, well, I guess I could try to do YouTube videos. And then my very first YouTube video, one of them on this channel was not here legally anymore. I was doing reviews for Eden Zero. Like I did manga reviews, and I was what, like if you were to search for it, I was one of the first people to actually read it and start talking about it here in the United States. But then I realized I had two major issues. One, my lighting was just the worst. Like it was bad. It was very, very bad. And two, this sounds very, very, very bad. But everyone else recording and talking about Eden Zero was a woman. Everybody else.
Okay.
Like there was only like because I would search for it, and there was only like 3 or 4 people actually genuinely talking about it. And one of them was me. One of them was Manga Fairy, and she'd already done a little bit of talking about Fairy Tail and all that stuff. So she was pretty invested in it. Then one was just this one random girl. I can't even remember what her name is anymore. She just like exploded. Her videos got like 1,000 views, like 1,500 views each time. I was like, she started her video from scratch. I was like, this is some stupid shit. And there's, like I said, it sounds like a really terrible reason. I was like, oh man, that is so not fair. So then I started to try to create other things, and then eventually, I might or might not have shown panels in my videos. And yeah,
okay now. I fought the law, and I won.
They'll come back for any. That only applies to you for one video.
Yeah, they'll be back. Well, now I've got that. There's precedent now, as they say in the legal. Like, well, it's
transformative enough. Like, but Shueisha got like one of my videos and instantaneously, like, I just knee-jerk reaction. I didn't want to bother fighting it. I literally deleted anything that had a panel of manga. Anything. Like, it was all gone. I'm like, you ain't gonna catch me with my pants down. Just, ugh. So yeah, and then as for waifu for laifu, man, I've literally never thought of like waifus. Like I'm gonna be honest here, like
I'm not that kind of anime fan, to be
neither am I.
perfectly honest with you.
Like this
Nothing
is
wrong with it. Nothing wrong with it. It's just not.
I'm literally sitting here trying to examine, like, go through my head, like, who would be a great waifu, and literally half the women like in the manga that I read are terrify me. It's not.
Yeah.
It's because they're like
Is that
they murder people.
What's this Spike from Cowboy Bebop quote? I love a woman who can kick my ass.
Oh yeah, I mean, I love that. My wife could kick my ass, like hands down.
Yeah.
But if you had to put a gun to my head, you said, Brian Lohali, who is your waifu or laifu? I'm gonna have to go Nico Robin.
Okay, I can respect that.
Because she's smart. She can hold her own in a fight. And she has a great sense of humor. Like my kind of like dry wit.
Sure.
Like that's I mean,
That's fair.
granted it'll probably change when I think of a different waifu, but that's kind of my go-to. Nami is too money obsessed for me.
Yeah.
There's not really any other girls right now in one Vivi. I might choose Vivi from One Piece. It's going to be a lot of One Piece choices because
Yeah.
Oda's not the best at writing women, but he does have some strong female characters. They're not they're not designed well. They're all. Have you ever heard Oda's like talk about how he designs women?
No, I haven't.
If he's drawing an
But they all
attractive woman,
very similar.
like he's like, my start sketch is an X with 2 circles at the top. And you're like, that explains it. That explains it. And now you're looking at it, you're like, okay, yeah, I can definitely see it. All right, now we have from Nike, well, XX Nike 629XX. It's a 3 question.
3 questions.
Three.
Okay.
What got you into anime and manga?
Just kind of always been there. Like it's the stereotypical. I used to watch Pokemon, then Digimon, and then I saw a real anime, and then my life got consumed by Japanese cartoons.
Mine was I did karate when I was younger, and a kid brought in Shonen Jump, and it was
that's a good way. That's a good story.
It was over from there. It was done. Like he was like, "Have you seen this stuff, man?" I was like, "What are you talking about?" And like he just showed up, and it was One Piece, Bleach. This was back when the big 3, Yu-Gi-Oh, were all in the same Shonen Jump, and like I was like
the Yu-Gi-Oh cards in Shonen Jump.
Oh yeah, and you got posters, you got all this cool stuff, and it was over from there. I was like, it would have been 2000, 2001, yeah, right around there. It was over. Like I don't know how he got that because I don't think it started getting published until later. But I know as a Japanese,
it was around that time. I remember being in like grade 5 and there being it. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's one. Will you ever stop being into anime and manga?
I don't think so. I mean, I hope not. Like I don't watch as much anime as I used to these days. I'm mostly strictly manga, unless there's like an anime that's like really caught my attention. And I hope that doesn't happen with manga.
No,
I think it will.
I think you go through ebbs and flows. I think it's such an integral part of my life now. You might feel the same way, where there might be a time where you stop reading it as heavily, or you only keep up with the bare minimum, and then you pick it back.
What I'm doing right now. There was a couple weeks ago. I was like, yep, volume, and I have only read Shonen Jump in the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, and that's like I said. I think I'm the very same. I'm the same way. This question I cannot answer because I can't truthfully say it. I can give you like 1 or 2 that I know. What is your top 5 mech series?
Top 5 mech series? Oh, Evangelion, Star Driver, Pat Labor. I'm trying to think of ones that aren't Gundam because it would be. I'm just thinking Gundam. Gundam always the best team, and Overman King Gainer.
Okay. For me, I can name 1 that I've just been into. It was weird. I never got into mech series. I don't know why.
Not for everyone.
But Bokurano.
Yeah. No, never mind. Scratch 1 of the 5 I just listed. And yeah, that one. I'm reading through that right now because I finally got volume 3.
It's an expensive series to get. It's super expensive.
It's volume 3. Everything else, it's like expensive. It's not too bad. It's just that volume 3 is like hundreds of dollars. And then Based, he messaged me on Twitter. He's like, "Yo, I found this on Reddit for $30." The guy the guy's like, yeah, it's all yours. It's all yours. He had like 2 or something like that, and he sent to me. It was like all wrapped. It was like shrink wrapped and everything. I was like, you
I got
just
lucky.
lost a lot of money.
Andrew Sudoku
Yeah.
actually helped me complete the series. Like he had it, and he's like, "Oh, I don't want it anymore." He just sent me the rest of them. So I own the
So
entire series, and it's like
I,
it's an
yeah,
important thing for me to have. Dude, it's
yeah,
so good.
it's so good. What is this? Like 12 volumes in there? Something like
11 or 12, something like that.
that.
Yeah, yeah. But because I went to Half Price Books. I was looking through, and I was like, okay. I saw Volume 6 was still like $30 at Half Price Books, which means that it normally would sell for 60.
Yeah.
Like, because they take half of the market price and they cut it in half, which I can respect. And so I was sitting there, I was like, okay, I was like, I was like, oh, there it is, and I grabbed the first 6. I walked to the counter and I have them. They're like $4.99, $4.99, $4.99, $32.99, $4.99. I sat there and they were like 6 volumes and it was like $60. I was like, what the hell? I was like, oh yeah. I
I
was
mean,
like, yeah, and I looked there. I was like, oh, I was like, I'm not gonna put this back, but I'll buy it anyway.
I can afford this. Doesn't eat for 3 days.
Just the way that the series progressed really blew my mind. Like
Yeah, it's crazy.
it was so dark. It was so
It doesn't waste any time jumping into it. It's like, okay, like it throws you for a loop too, because like
yeah.
you get it's like, yeah, this is like a stereotypical kind of mech anime, and then what's
And
his name falls off
oh
at
yeah,
the end. It just goes from there.
you're like, what? You're like, oh, it takes the brain power of all these children to run this thing, and you're like, oh, I lied. I was lied to. I was misbelieved. And then have you completed the series before?
Finished it, yeah.
Just the way that they like the turns that it takes, I was like, what the
Yeah.
hell? Like, if you haven't read Bokurano, like, read it.
Even if you have to read scans,
Like, this is one of
I
those
will.
series. Yeah, this is one of those series like you have to experience and go. It's dark. It is probably one of the darkest manga that I've read. Like, just thematically.
It's it's tough to get through at times. Like there was the what was it? I don't know if I'm misremembering, but like the glasses dude, he like tricked his little sister or whatever into like
Oh
signing the contract, and
yeah.
then she had to smell in it. I was like, oh, what the hell?
Or there was where the one kid literally just goes out of their way to like screw everything up.
Oh yeah. Oh,
I was like, what
that
the
was yeah. Have you watched the anime for it?
no? Is it?
It's all right.
It's all right.
All right. It doesn't. I don't think it adapts at all. I think it's got like an original ending.
Oh well, I
Um,
gotta that end
but
the
it was yeah.
like I said, I'm not gonna say like it's a manga. There's obviously twists. It's dark, but that one where you find out like what's actually going on,
Yeah.
like I was like, what? Oh my god.
Yeah.
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 So that's the questions from my Twitter that I saw so far. Make sure there's nothing else. Nope. Going to your Twitter now.
Did I get many?
I don't know. You might have gotten one or two. Let's double check. One's from me. What is your favorite color?
Blue.
Blue. Okay, I can
Yeah.
respect that. All right. And then, can you make it go away?
No. No, I won't. I'm not gonna make it go away.
I don't even know what it is. I can't make it go away if I don't know what it is.
Even if I knew what it was, it wouldn't be going away. I'd be bringing it back
Yeah, darn
time
right.
and
So we're kind of at the end of this episode. It went on a little bit longer than I was planning. I was hoping for an hour, but you and I get to talking, and
wow. It's that late. Holy heck.
yeah,
That
like
flew
I
by.
said, it's
I'm
you're with
legitimately
me.
that I haven't even been looking at the time, to be honest
It's
with you.
I've been keeping an eye on it a little bit to try to make sure that we didn't go over an hour, but there's been no natural stopping point.
Yeah.
But because I want to leave things for us to talk about next time,
Yeah.
because that's
Sure.
how I am.
Well,
But
by the next time we talk, I will have taken down 6 more manga piracy websites.
I'm putting it to that. That's in verbal writing now, everybody. 6 more manga piracy websites. That's what's gonna happen. So as you know, I like to end with just one random question, something that we didn't think about. I already asked you what your favorite sandwich was, so it can't be that. But give me 1 second. Like I said, all of these questions that I ever think of at the very end, I just come off the top of my dome. Okay. What style of glasses do you think you are?
These ones, I think, actually. I think everybody chooses a pair of glasses that kind of suits not just their face, but like their existence.
So why do you feel those glasses suit you?
Um, they're big. You can look at them. You can look through them. Two things. I have two eyes. Um, I don't know. That's the best answer I think you'll be able to squeeze out of me this late.
Let's see. My favorite. Oh man. What kind of? I'm trying to think of what kind of glasses I am.
They have two arms.
Oh.
I have two arms.
Oh. They have two lenses. I have two eyes. It just works out that way.
Plus, they like the way they just kind of fit on my face. It's just like it feels like a glove.
Oh man. See, now I have to answer this question because I have glasses as well, but I'm not wearing them. I'm the classic kind of glasses that everyone's like, man, those are kind of classic, but no one really wants to wear them and admit to them. Like, oh yeah, that's a pretty kind of class. That's a classic look right there. But you're like, is it though? And you always question in your mind. Like it's like I'm not those circle glasses that like you see from like Indiana Jones and Harry Potter and stuff. Now I'm just like they have the rim right here, and then they have the wire going underneath. A little bit of leopard print going on.
Kind of glasses.
And that was probably the weirdest question I've ever asked as a final one. I'm gonna be honest here.
I was prepared. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna just answer this perfectly. What kind of glasses are you? I don't know.
Always, you're like I'm prepared. Like I've heard the questions that you've asked before, Brian. I know what you're gonna go for. What kind of glasses? Shit.
Exactly. Well, I'm gonna give you one of my own then.
Right.
If you were a cup, what kind of cup would you be?
I'd be a mug.
Yeah.
A mug.
Damn it, that's mine.
Yeah, that's right. I said it first.
You want a glass? Yeah, and then they give you like an actual glass. It's like, well, one, it's twice the size. Where's the handle?
Yeah.
You need a handle.
Yeah, I mean,
just like free
thee.
palm a cup.
Let's take a look at a mug. Let's take a look at a mug right here. This is obviously. Let me get to my big thing.
I have a glass.
Yeah, you have a glass right there. I have a mug. Guess what? I can do this. My hand doesn't get hot because of the hot liquid. My hand doesn't get cold because of the cold liquid. I can also use it as a bowl if I absolutely need to because of the shape. This is a multi-purpose thing. Like I use tea, I drink milk out of this, I eat cereal out of this, I put yogurt in this. Like this is a multi-functional. Yeah.
I would rather eat soup out of a cup than eat at any Michelin star restaurant.
Yeah. Yeah, like, oh man, you're like, oh, you're gonna put a soup in this one of these things? You feel good, because then suddenly guess what? You can drink the hot liquid. Again, this is the perfect vessel.
Couldn't stump you. I'll think I'm gonna think of the weirdest question. I'm gonna stump you.
Hey, I will. If anyone ever has any questions, just remember, I am the ultimate bullshit artist. I don't know what I'm saying until it's out of my mouth, and I just let it fly. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, but I'm always entertained.
Hold your head high, and then people will be like, "That didn't sound right," but he looks really full of himself right now. So I'm gonna smile and nod.
It's like that guy who walks into a job site wearing a hard hat and a clipboard. Like you don't know if he belongs, but you're too afraid to ask any questions.
It's like, hey, do you work here? Excuse me? What's your name? just
yeah.
Look at your schedule here. You're fired.
Go home for the day. Boss calls him back. Hey, why'd you leave? Yeah, the guy with the clipboard and the hard hat told me to leave. Who?
You're the worst way to lose your job.
Well, I hate to tell you that you're
fired. We are now.
You're double fired.
I should hire you back to fucking fire you again.
Hey man, just calling to see if you're okay. I saw you walk off the job site. Yeah, that new foreman walked on and just fired me straight away because he said I was giving him attitude. We don't have a new foreman. Oh no. I mean, you do now because you have a new job, but we don't have one here.
That'd be the worst way to just lose your job too.
Because you can see it's like one of those.
Going forward. Oh, I thought I got fired, so I just left. It just doesn't sound real.
All right, Zach. Before we go, tell people where they can find you. Let them know what do you have coming up in your life, on your videos. This is gonna be out. This video is gonna be out in a certain amount of time. We'll figure it out later.
Well, by the time this video is out, I may have a video out, a new video. I may have a new hat. I might have a new hat. Thinking about it. This is my third hat because like I got tired of wearing the cabbie hat. I was like, yeah, I gotta mix it up. And I was at the clothing store. I was like, yo, hats, £2. All right, cool.
The hats weigh 2 pounds. But
it,
God damn it, Brian.
I'm still in the like phase of saying dollars. Like I haven't lived here long enough to like acclimate to the currency.
Oh,
it's like yeah, it's $5. No, it's £5. Oh, right, that's right. But no, yeah, you can find me on YouTube at Uchuu Shelf and Twitter at Uchuu Shelf as well. What I've got coming up, I might be starting a weekly thing where I review the newest like Jujutsu Kaisen chapters. I haven't committed to it yet, so I don't want to like say I'm going to do it because I just won't do it if I commit to it. And then I try to do a thing every week where I like do like what have I been reading, and I try to replace my manga hauls with those. I did them for 2 weeks in a row. Missed 2 weeks. Did one last week, but I haven't read anything this week. So
you could still put out a video that says, "Hey, I didn't read anything this week. Thank you. Bye." Make it literally a 30-second video.
That yeah, that's coming Sunday.
Actually, the best part is that video will be out before this video's out, so you're gonna see the planning of the video before it actually happens. Everybody, this is amazing. You've seen a video idea come to life.
So I get so lazy too because it's like I'll have like a video idea, but like yeah, that's so much work. And like I did a podcast with Callum last week, and I was like, that's it. I have to do a video this weekend. Yeah, I got a few things kind of. When I say in the works, written on a notepad somewhere over there.
You actually have a notepad? I just kind of.
It's like a pad of sticky notes that I bought thinking I would ever need sticky notes.
No one ever needs. You don't ever need sticky notes.
Yeah, I was just at the store and they were like 50 pence. I was like, yeah, I will definitely use these. So there's a pad over there. There was for a while I drew like a cat out of sticky notes, and it was like a big thing on my wall. That's gone though.
I can try to good play.
Yeah, I got videos coming out for sure.
I mean, hands down, we definitely have videos coming out.
At least a video.
All right, and everyone, you know where to find me. We're gonna have another video coming next week. I'm not sure what video came out last week because I'm not sure what week I'm putting this video out, which Monday. But stay tuned on Mondays for videos because you know where to find me. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, enjoying this over an hour-long conversation. My buddy Zach from Uchuu Shelf. And for everyone new and old, welcome and welcome back. It's your boy Lohli, and I will see you next video.